1836, a machine was invented that was the hemp what the cotton gin is to cotton. The first American flag was made out of hemp. George Washington was a hemp farmer. All the soldiers at Valley Forge wore clothes made out of hemp. Every prairie schooner that crossed the West was covered in hemp.
Isn't that sick?
Hemp will produce...
He's not talking about the use of marijuana.
Hemp will produce...
He is not talking about the use of marijuana. He's talking about the abuse of marijuana.
I'm trying to explain to you why the American people have been brainwashed into not understanding what's really going on here. If you can produce non-polluting fuel to run all of our cars cheaper than gasoline, do you know who poured millions of dollars into Recriminalization Alaska? The petrochemical industry funded that campaign.
Oh, no, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
Marie?
No, sir. I beg your pardon, sir.
Look,
Excuse me.
you can declare a civil
Excuse me.
war in this country. It's 90,000 against 70,000. You're going to put that 70,000 in jail?
Excuse me.
Yes, Marie, you do get to speak. I know this audience will respect you and allow you to speak.
Excuse me. That initiative was done completely and totally by volunteers, by people like you and me who went out and collected signatures.
That's a lie. I read in the paper that the petrochemical put millions of dollars into Recrim.
Excuse
the Tobacco Institute.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Let me give you the exact figures.
Go ahead, Marie. Go ahead.
Let me give you the exact figures.
Yes.
Excuse me.
We're listening, Marie. Go ahead.
For our initiative, we spent $7,000, collected 42,000 signatures. That $7,000 was used to pay for one person in a room to do all of the gathering work for us over a period of 5.5 months.
Yep.
Excuse me.
How much did the opposition spend, Marie?
Excuse me. We didn't have any opposition during the collecting of the signatures. Now, excuse me.
Yeah. Please let her make her point.
I will tell you.
Partnership for Drug-Free America.
I will tell you. Excuse me. Let me talk.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, this is a unique experience for a Jewish guy to stand up here. I know how the Christians felt going to the lion.
Yeah.
Excuse
The people
me.
being thrown to the wolves are the
I
marijuana
am,
smokers.
I am compelled to ask this audience to
Excuse me.
demonstrate good old Alaskan courtesy
Yeah,
to
behave
the speaker
yourself.
and let her make her point. Marie, please.
All right. For this particular initiative, we collected
You collected what?
the last APOC on October 30th was $12,000. Excuse me, and I will tell you. Excuse me, and I will tell you.
Please make your point, Marie. We're listening.
We had very little money. Nobody was paid. Nobody was paid a nickel out of that $12,000 we
What
had.
about all the media propaganda and Bill Bennett, the drug czar coming up here to support this thing?
Let me just make a point, Marie.
I'd like to tell America that if you didn't load this place with so many potheads, they'd be a lot more polite.
Well,
I know what you
well,
guys
let me
take
say
to
first
get
of all
in
how flattered we are to have such a large crowd turn out to participate in our program. I don't want for a moment to be misunderstood. We are grateful for your enthusiasm. You clearly care about an issue that is not exclusive to the last frontier. All of us all over the 50 states of the United States are struggling with this problem. You will permit me, since I have gray hair, I will take the risk to preach for a moment.
Can I join
don't
you?
want you to lose your enthusiasm. But if you yell out in the middle of someone else trying to make a point, then you risk not being able to make a point yourself. I know that you're as proud of the democratic feature of our nation as I am, and that you would like to convey to the rest of the country, as well as the people watching in our program in other countries around the world, the fact that you respect other speakers and that yelling out does nothing but call attention to yourself and uses time that might be
And
more
I'm
properly
embarrassed,
delivered
Bill.
to arguing the issue before us.
And I'm
Please
embarrassed that
let
you
us
have to teach
respect the
Alaskans
speaker.
how to have good
Herb,
manners.
what is it you're saying, my
I'm
friend?
embarrassed that you have to teach Alaskans how to have good manners.
Well,
Marie, I have a question for you. I don't smoke pot, and I am not for pot. What I would like to know is, you guys have changed the law. What do you honestly believe that changing that law is going to do any good? Because people do it in the privacy of their own home. Hang on. And the only way that they're really going to get caught is if the police officers go into their home, see paraphernalia sitting around, and they can bust them. Do you really honestly think that changing this law is going to change catching these people?
It'll change it on the margins. You're not going to eliminate marijuana use. We know that. The question is, are you going to allow the inability to achieve perfection? Are you going to stop you from trying to make things better? And I'm suggesting to you that the fact that this is now against the law in this state is going to be used by some people as a means of saying, no, I'm not going to do it. It's illegal. It's wrong. Now, that is not to eliminate marijuana.
Marijuana smokers are productive
I'm
citizens.
sorry to have to yell, but the vast
Marie,
majority...
you should be entitled to speak, and I know this audience will share the time with you. Go ahead.
One of the things that I'm very concerned about is that the attitude, the liberal attitude toward use and abuse of all drugs. Hopefully, what I am hoping to achieve with this law is to begin to tell our young people, this stuff is harmful, it is hurting you, and we will begin, hopefully, not only to change the attitudes of the children, but the attitudes of the parents. Now, let me tell you.
We have 400,000 people that die every year from alcohol and tobacco. Okay, no one ever dies from smoking marijuana, not one person.
Make me understand one thing. Up to now,
That's a documented medical fact.
now, our children have gone to school and have learned not to use. They've been told this is bad. Then they go home and see mom and dad using it. Now, excuse me, now, your son and daughter is going to come home, and when they see you using, they're going to say to you, Mom and Dad, you are breaking the law. Is it okay for me to break the law?
And we'll be back to Anchorage, Alaska in just a moment. Tells us that in 1989, here are the national figures, 43% of high school seniors smoke pot at least once. The Alaska figures show that 68% of your high school seniors smoke pot at least once. You smoke more pot here per capita than do people in the lower 48. National figures show that 17% smoked pot within the last month. The Alaska figures show 45% smoked pot within the last month. Do liberal pot laws promote more pot smoking? Incidentally, there's more THC in pot today than there used to be. 3.5%. That's up from 0.5% in 1974. So you get a buzz on a lot faster with the pot that's on sale today. One more thing. A high reaches its peak within 1/2 hour of smoking and can last from 2 to 8 hours after you've smoked pot. The body takes from 1 week to 1 month to clear itself from chemicals from one marijuana cigarette. Those who oppose the liberal marijuana laws claim, and there is considerable evidence to prove, that pot impairs memory, alters the sense of time, impairs concentration, affects your ability to reproduce, impairs your speech, you have lack of body coordination, and unexpected mood changes.
And I don't want that guy.
Cow.
And I don't want
you can
that
also
guy
get
driving
bronchitis.
down the highway in front of me or on the same highway as somebody that I care about.
I never saw anybody smoke a marijuana cigarette and
By the way,
stumble down
Bill,
the street the way they do on alcohol.